Fighter games. Nothing but a good fair 1v1 fight where the first one to fall off the map 3 times or get beaten down and stun locked for 2 rounds in a row to really show your friend who's boss. Fighter games are those types of games that make me shiver every time I queue up for an online match. But whenever I play against friends or family, I feel like an absolute god. Kneel before me, you weak mortals, for you are not on par with my power. But then I queue up online and get my ass handed to me. Well, of course. And I'm sure that this all sounds very relatable, but I want to bring something to light that I feel like needs to be talked about. The state of this amazing genre. Because the fighter genre is, after all, 48 years old and has seen some real renovating throughout the years. From platform fighters to extreme violence, from story modes to competitive scenes, and from knowing what their players want to completely leaving them to drown in microtransactions. Yes, it's one of those videos. So, strap in and enjoy the ride because there is 4 games that we're going to talk about today. Starting with...
Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul and reawaken the undying light.
The Super Smash Bros. Franchise needs no introduction. No, seriously. All Nintendo had to do to make me and millions of other fans scream was reflect the Smash logo in an Inkling's eye. This franchise is old at this point, starting as a very family-friendly game but slowly starting to get harder and harder as the sequels released. However, the third installment of this franchise, being Super Smash Bros. Brawl, they turned the ship around again. They made a casual, slow game that was easy for everyone to understand while focusing on the characters. Fans of Sonic, Pokemon, and even Metal Gear Solid of all things all rejoiced as they got to see their characters fight with each other. And even though the story had no dialogue at all, it still meant a lot to people. Whilst Smash Melee is certainly most impressive from a competitive standpoint, Brawl is the start of a lot of Smash fans' journeys, including my own. They made the right call to make Brawl a little bit slower, because this introduced many people to the franchise, meaning that they would go along for the next installment. Or at least that's what they thought. Smash 4, or maybe known as Smash U, is where it started getting a bit more grim. This installment had no story this time because some idiot leaked the story mode on the internet, making Papa Sakurai very upset. Hey, that was a pretty good rhyme. What wasn't a good rhyme though was this. Echo Fighters were introduced. And this is where my personal problems lie, and I don't think I'm the only one. After Smash 4 being one of the worst sold Smash games, since it was selling on the worst selling Nintendo console, they decided to make sure that everyone is here. But with everyone, they mean Peach, Peach 2, Ryu, Ryu 2, Marth, Marth 1, 2, 3. I could go on, but yeah, you get my point. Looking at the Smash roster of Ultimate feels like watching One Piece. You got some great plots and stories like the cool pirate crocodile, or the furry friend that is secretly a badass. But all these, the Echo Fighters as they're called, they're just like filler in One Piece, but could have easily been skins just like Koopalings. Nintendo thought, why not make it a bit worse? Although you could argue that the DLC has some characters that shouldn't have been in it, like seriously, why is Sans just a Mii costume and not an actual character? The quality of their gameplay is substantially better than a very big portion of the Smash cast, meaning that if you pay Nintendo extra money, that's when you truly get to play a new game. Otherwise, you just get Smash 4 with some extra characters. No, seriously, here is the Smash Ultimate roster without Echo/unoriginal fighters or DLC. Not a lot, is it? I love Smash, and I have put many, many hours into this game. But if this is truly Sakurai's last Smash game, I have to admit that the taste left in my mouth isn't that nice. But there is one game that has left an even sourer taste in my mouth. Mortal Kombat! The first Mortal Kombat game was released in 1992 October, which was a date that was before my time. I wasn't born, I wasn't even close to being born. So for me, this journey started a little later, Mortal Kombat 9. And like many people, yes, I am sometimes a normie, I feel like this Mortal Kombat was truly the best one. It had the widest range of characters to choose from that were actually interesting and fitted into the universe. It had an amazing story, the gameplay was incredible, and it was just so iconic. Now Mortal Kombat X is where fatalities were upped a little bit. They upped their game in the animation style, and the story was pretty vile as well. This scene of Melina being killed by Devora, spoiler alert, was pretty hard to watch. And although Mortal Kombat 11 did a thing that I usually have problems with, being time, they kind of handled it alright. The story wasn't amazing, but it was engaging enough for me to fall in love with the characters that I already liked. And Mortal Kombat 11, aside from that, was a great game and had some really good gameplay, really fun dialogue of characters, the DLC were incredibly fun, the customization was just so good, the game looked so good, and I could go on for hours. So, for them to last year, as of now, release a game like Mortal Kombat 1 with a worse story that goes back into the Multiversus and is somehow more chaotic than my asshole's hairs is incredibly stupid. Aside from that, the customization is awful.
These two axes are the exact same, but just a retexture. And this happens a lot, even though all you can change is either the gear or the skin, and that's it.
The incredible need for money is so easy to see. Not only, as I briefly mentioned, is it very hard to grind for cosmetics, it also costs a lot of money to even unlock 1 or 2 cosmetics for your favorite character. And if you're like me, that slim chance that you're not a one-trick pony and you like playing several characters, this is very annoying. Apart from the fact that this game is already like around 100 gigabytes. Here's the actual number. It is $80 and it's also incredibly hard to run for many PCs, meaning that you might even have to get a completely new PC to play it, and they still charge you money to play the game, to play for something. And if you want to play the DLC, which to be fair are pretty fun, I still can't believe that J.K. Simmons and John Cena actually voiced their respective characters, which makes me very disappointed in Anthony Starr. But why do I have to pay you an extra $40 if the game is already $80? This game is not worth $80. And as I said before, it's not even accessible. And the gameplay is not even that great. They brought in cameos for characters like Sonya or Jax instead of bringing them back as actual characters, because why would they? And that would have been fine if the cameos actually interacted with the characters. But they don't. They are just shells of their former beings. This is not fucking Sonya Blade. This is just some blonde bitch in a fucking tank top. That's not a tank top, but you get my point. And can we stop trying to be new? Can we stop hating loading screens? A loading screen is fine as long as it's quick, as long as it doesn't take an hour. I have no problem to have a loading screen between picking a character and fighting, because I'm already used to that in every single fighter game, and it just brings a sort of excitement. to you. But we can't have nice things. Everything has to be next gen and look so incredible instead of making it more accessible. I am repeating myself, I am sounding like a broken record, and I'm so sorry. If you like broken records though, there is one thing you can do. Subscribe. And then you might hear my voice more often if you like what you hear. And if you don't, that's okay. Neither do I. But Mortal Kombat is very obviously not the only fighter that has disappointed fans. Now we go over to... Tekken 8 is the first and only Tekken game I have ever played, but I have played Kazuya in Super Smash, so I feel like my opinion is at least a little bit valid. Tekken 8 came out swinging at first, making almost everything free, having a chaotic and very typically Japanese story mode. Like, why the fuck is everyone on a motorcycle? I love it, but it's not practical. Tekken 8 had a lot to offer. The gameplay was better than other respective fighters. The customization was so good.
Mohammed Abdul! Yes, I am!
And you could grind for it for free, but then they decided to do the old Mortal Kombat. Here's a DLC character you have to pay for, and here is a battle pass, because why not? It's fine if you put microtransactions in the game, but Tekken was a really respected franchise because usually doesn't do this shit. And it doesn't upset me as much as it might you, because as I said before, Tekken 8 is my first and only Tekken game I've ever played, and I'm having a blast. The gameplay is really fun, but why do they have to spit on their own reputation months after releasing the game? It was fine as it was. Maybe release a new character, sure, ask for money, it's fine. But once again, and the same goes for Mortal Kombat, if your game already has a price tag like this, in-game microtransactions should be at a minimum. But yeah, no, I think that's maybe too much to ask, isn't it? Speaking of microtransactions, let's go to the last and final fighter game that we talk about today. Yes, the newly released Multiversus. What a blast of a game. No, I'm serious. In the beta, I had a lot of fun with this game. I even spent around $90 to get the full package so I could get all future characters. So hey, look at me now. I have all characters. But the problem is, not everyone does. According to this YouTuber, here's the credit, it takes over 900 hours to unlock all the characters. Warner Brothers. It is fine to ask for microtransactions in a free game. This is very different than Mortal Kombat or Tekken asking for microtransactions. They have all the right to. And yeah, I fell for it. I bought all characters because I love the Warner Brothers franchise. Apart from that, the game is really fun, but it has so many issues. Starting with server issues. As of recording right now, and it's the 3rd of June, which means that this game has been out for around a week, games are still crashing, and what's even worse is that it's taking people's time away, since it's not always everyone that crashes. Sometimes, just for alt-tabbing, you will crash, and you might just leave your teammate with no one in a 2v2. Apart from that, the beta was a lot faster than what the game is now. In many aspects, it feels like this game feels more like a beta than the actual beta. The PvE feels about as lazy as the Overwatch 2 PvE. Okay, I'm so sorry. And it seems that the audience that Warner Brothers really wants to approach is the kids, the Fortnite kids. But if it takes over 900 hours to grind for characters, or you have to pay your way out, a kid is not gonna do that. They already spent their money on Fortnite. What is Warner Brothers even trying to do here? They have no idea who to appeal to, since the game is too slow for adults like myself, and well, the text and the voice lines are very corny and childish, but at the same time the prices are so preposterous that a kid could not properly play Multiversus. Apart from that, is fighter games just one of those genres that don't really work hand in hand with kids? I mean, look at the uproar that Mortal Kombat had, apart from the fact that almost no kids were playing that game. Not only was the game too brutal for a lot of kids, it was also just too hard. Even if you were to give little Timmy a complete arcade machine back then, he probably wouldn't even play Mortal Kombat because it was just that hard. Just give him something like, I don't know, a Nintendo, any Nintendo, and the kid would be way happier. And this one breaks my heart as well because I've been there from the start. As I said, I spent money on this game. I love the Warner Brothers franchise so much, and I think the 2v2 dynamic is really fun, as I said in my review. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. But it's just so incredibly sad that all these fighter games have gone down these roads. The roads of microtransactions, the roads of corporate greed. I haven't even talked about All-Star Battle, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or Street Fighter 6, which I do hear very positive things about. But overall, it just seems like this genre is just not loved anymore. We don't know what happens this year or next year. Maybe a new Smash game is announced and we finally get to play Waluigi. But as I said, we don't know. This genre is just one of the most heartbreaking genres out there right now, just like the FPS genre. But if you want me to make a video about that, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, or even become a member, because I am not able to afford the new Call of Duty games to properly review them. So, thank you very much for watching, and if you like the content, I just told you what you can do. And here are two amazing videos on which I talk about something else, and you can go ahead and click on it. Once again, thank you so much for the support as always. This is Embo, signing off. Cheers.